Why, hello there, fellow ranchers. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Oxygen Not Included, the Frosty Planet. Episode 4, Flox Wrangling. I've also dug over here, and the purpose of digging over here is it's going to allow us to mop up some of the ethanol. And my plan is to use some of this ethanol as a liquid for a liquid lock. Because in this temperature, ethanol, if you're wondering, becomes a solid at extremely low temperature, so there's not really a risk of that. And only becomes a gas at pretty high temperatures, pretty unlivable for the average dupe. So it's mostly just going to be a liquid in regular environment temperatures, so it's a pretty good liquid for a liquid lock, allowing us to gas isolate the insulated living quarters to everything else. Oh, you are stuck. Glad to notice. So we have a little bit of mopped up ethanol now, and widening the pit will allow us to get more ethanol mopped up. Just because if it's too deep, we can't mop it. It's too much liquid. So I just have to spread it out further to be able to mop it up, and then we can dump it wherever we want to make a liquid lock. I am going to assign them to the new cot. Phasing this all out. And then once the mess hall, the replacement mess hall is built, I'll do the same with the mess hall. Ooh, what do we have down here? Got another wood heater, a DIY cot, and a smart-looking smart storage with nothing in it, sitting on a pool of ethanol. Huh, interesting. This is mercury versus cinnabar. So cinnabar is the metal ore version, and mercury is the refined version. So there's just like solid refined mercury up here. And I think that's everything new that was to be found. Alright, new mess hall is just about done, so getting rid of the old one. And I had mentioned previously that for the transportation that we'll eventually have, I want a 3-wide, a 3-wide tunnel or vertical shaft here, so that we have the space and capacity to expand our transportation. Meaning that I'm going to start my liquid lock probably around here or here. Oh, we have someone leveled up. Sean leveled up. Let's give you plumbing, so you can empty out pipes. And I'm going to start this liquid lock with stone tiles. Actually, maybe even lower like this. So the reason I'm using stone is twofold. One, igneous is a slow heating, so it doesn't transfer heat very quickly. And 2, it has a movement speed bonus, so that I can move along it more quickly. So it fulfills both of those requirements. So the current priority right now is to build a temperature isolated area. And here is the big plan. So the big plan, the big picture plan, is to create a vacuum chamber where there is no air in between the inside and outside, and to create like a large living area like this, surrounded by an air gap vacuum. Pretty fancy, but that's going to really stop the heat from getting out. And I'm going to probably do a 2 wide air gap, rather than the 1. And that's going to be for even more heat transference reasons. Then we'll have a bottle emptier here, and we're going to essentially just dump ethanol in here as a liquid lock. And the liquid will prevent the gases from freely exchanging between both sides. Because actual physical door air locks are imperfect and will allow gas to transfer between sides. And the benefit of the wood heater is the wood heater prevents soggy feet. So as our duplicants warm themselves with the wood heater, they will not constantly get wet from transferring between the sides of the lock. I'm really worried about their build order here, because if their build order is wrong, they'll get trapped. New printables. Omelet time. I am going to make an emergency to get the wood heater on, because they are not having restful sleep without it being fueled up, which will have them be more productive as a result. So for now, I think I'm only going to worry about the inside wall of the insulated area. I'm not going to worry about the outside wall. So I'm going to be building half of the air gap, but not the other half. So then once we get out of this liquid lock area, I'm probably going to want a ladder. I don't really care what material I make it out of, so wood is just fine. Because we're going to have a multi-story living area, where then each floor is its own, like, 4-high spot, you know, so that we have bedrooms and we have, you know, everything else that we need. And we can go pretty deep. I picked this side because there's not a lot of liquid in this side. Whereas if we went over here, we'd run into ethanol pretty quickly. Alright, K-Cal's looking pretty good. I might not even do a research focus. Because as I research, it's going to require the dupes to run on the manual generator more often, and I'd rather have my researcher helping out with this construction project. And then one of the other benefits of living in here is that I am planning on having it be wood floored. Which is why it was really important for me to get the ranch up for the animals, so that I can actually start using wood as a building material and not just a fuel source. Because wooden floors are very pretty, and the bonus decor will help to keep the duplicants happy, and it's also a pretty good insulator as well. It's not amazing, but it's pretty good. And then when paired with an air gap, it's going to be even better. So, logistically speaking, probably we would want, right near the entryway, dining and a kitchen. So this might be our Great Hall and kitchen sort of behind it, I think. Just thinking about the layout. And then bedrooms are less frequented, so the bedrooms can be like further back. And then at the bottom of all of this, we're also going to want the same sort of pit for carbon dioxide collection, because this will have its own internal loop where we're going to be burning wood for carbon dioxide generation to convert that with aloe vera back into oxygen. So this will also need a oxygen pit. Or a carbon dioxide pit at the bottom. Which means that periodically in the construction, maybe every X amount of tiles, not only are we going to want airflow tiles or mesh tiles at the ends so that there's at least a 2-wide gap, we're also going to want and maybe I won't build that there. We're also going to want periodic mesh tiles throughout this so that gas can settle out in the bottom. So, let's see. We'll go 9 in, and then... let's go 8 in. We'll go 8 in, and then have mesh tiles here and here. Just an arbitrary number. I'm just trying to keep it even. Alright. The other thing is, for now, I am going to do a catch-all bin. I haven't done a lot of storage bins, as you can see, but I'm doing a catch-all bin just so that we can sweep the things up that is going to be within the liquid lock, so we can set up the liquid lock. But I might wait to dump the liquid in the liquid lock until we need it, because dumping it early means that we're going to get a lot more soggy feet than we need, necessarily. It'd also be good if, at least for now, while we're working on this, to have an easy way to get in and out, other than to use this liquid lock infrastructure, just so that the construction of this project is a little bit faster. Plus, we're going to want to haul away all of the stuff that gets built, excavated here, because in our nice living quarters, A, we won't want to heat up these this material, because this material should stay cold if we're using it outside of the base, and B, if we heat it up, especially the ices and snows, it will create a lot of liquid that we don't have a place to put it, or we won't want to dump everywhere. So there's a bunch of reasons to haul everything in there out. But maybe not to organize it, just to put it into storage bins and dump it on the ground. Like a sweep-only storage bin that once we fill up, we empty it out and we dump everything out and we fill it back up with swept stuff. How did this Flox get buried itself? I don't even know. Ain't my problem. The other thing is, the mesh tiles that we're putting in here, anything metal that we put in here, I have to figure out the melting temperature of cinnabar. Because I don't exactly want there to be a big mess. So cinnabar... mesh tiles made out of cinnabar. What is its... cinnabar ore, what is your properties? Because I might need to consider what metals I'm making this out of as well. So let me try to find some cinnabar so I can analyze that. Because I do have access to iron, and I know iron's going to be a lot more stable, I'd guess. So cinnabar ore. Your melting point... no, actually, your melting point is quite high, so I'm not too worried about using cinnabar ore then. It's the refined version of cinnabar ore, which would be mercury, which is a lot more problematic. Because its melting point is... -38°C, so it's going to melt in room temperature, obviously, because liquid mercury exists at room temperature. So cinnabar is fine to use as a mesh tile, but mercury would not be. That was my concern, but I have that answered, so we're good. So after I think this level, below this will be the Alveol Vera oxygen back to, or oxygen generation room. So we don't have to have it very high, because the Alveol Vera plants just take up 2 units. I might want it 3 units high, just so that if we have air and plumbing, we can do something with that. And I probably don't need this many plants, but I'd rather go overkill than underkill. And then the plants themselves are not good tile insulators, so I'm going to have them lined with wood as well. But I probably don't have the wood for that just yet, so I'm going to hold off on this for now. Because I don't want to use up all my wood and then not have a fuel source. Cheers. Looking pretty good. And we can create this as a thoroughfare to accelerate the rate at which we are excavating and moving things around. And I'm gonna start having Sean sweep. In fact, Sean, let's have you put in even a better hat here. The full-on plumbing hat. You'd be like Blue Mario. So this bin is going to be for everything but sweep only. So only things that we elect to sweep gets in there. So I'll start to create sweep orders to tidy this area up and to put all the stuff away. It's going to be a lot of sweeping. It's a big task. Oh, what is on the ground here? Liquid water? Oh, someone had another mess? I'm assuming? It will freeze, I'm not too worried. K-Cals are still climbing. The squash that we have, we don't have any recipes just yet for it, so I was gonna look at that, but no. I can sweep it though. I think this mammoth is a little marooned, but I might as well sweep this up before it gets consumed. So, this can be eaten by sage hatches, mammoths, hatches, and if we process, it can also be processed with tallow into squash fries through a deep fryer, which I don't have, or probably pemmican as well, I'd imagine. And we're not set to eat it, right? No, we're not set to eat it raw. Good. Whoa, that's weird. Little break in the universe there, just a little bit. Where's the treat button? I don't have one for now. Our oxalite does not have storage available, and that's because oxalite is a sublimator. We could set up a good storage spot for oxalite at some point, but it does require it to be submerged in a liquid. So it would have to be like over here where the ethanol is. But alternatively, I could put the oxalite here, where we're gonna have a liquid lock, because that would create a storage area that does not sublime. And having it be in the liquid lock where the living quarters are serves another purpose, where we can store stable oxalite in a spot where we can then deliver it as in sconces if we need. So down here, we will put oxalite sublimators in this box. And then we can start to use that as a liquid lock. So that means that I want to dig up here so that we can mount more of this ethanol up to actually create a liquid lock now that we have a purpose for it. If you take a look, the net amount of carbon dioxide that I have, I would say, is probably negative. The cloud of carbon dioxide that is settled out looks a lot smaller than it was before. So I'm not actually measuring it or anything, but just eyeballing it, it looks like it's a net negative, which is good. It means there are Velvera farms are doing exactly what we intended them to do. There we go. That's wide enough that we can start mopping. New printables. Saltwater, coal, a digging, tidying farm with noodle arms? No. So there's a few traits that I particularly like and dislike. Anemia is a big one. Athletics is your move speed. And on Ceres, because it's really cold, your athletics are already -5 by default, and if you have anemia, you're going to move so slowly you will never get work done unless you're like constantly heated. So anemia is to be avoided. Noodle arms I don't particularly like either. Shriveled taste buds and kitchen menace is not terrible, but operating and supply I don't really have a high need for right now either. So I will take, oddly enough, coal. Don't exactly know what I'm going to do with it, but I'll take it anyway. So the relative temperature here, it's still well below freezing, so I wonder why we have a lot of liquid in this spot. I'm not sure. I think we're just getting some of the polluted ice that we had made a mess is like phase changing regularly, and I don't know why, but I'll mop it up so that it's not a recurring problem. So the wood we have is down to about 6,000 kilograms. All of the pike apple bushes are ready to be grazed upon. So as soon as Nabla gets 2,000 more experience, we'll start ranching. So that's going to be a little momentous, I think. I am very excited about that. And here is the mopping up of the ethanol. So we'll start using this ethanol as a liquid lock liquid up here. I'll set that to 9 so we actually do it. There we go. So now that the oxalite is submerged, it won't outgas, so that it's stable in this box. Meaning that any oxalite that we dig up and then sweep up quickly into the box won't immediately become oxygen, which makes it, you know, useful to be able to use. Because otherwise it just outgasses wherever we dig it up. And it's not the only sublimator. Sublimator is a new class of, for storages. So you've got, oxalite is one, but another one that is in vanilla, oxygen not included, that is commonly happened upon is bleachstone. And I was just looking around to see if I've found any bleachstone yet. But bleachstone is like solid chlorine, which is very useful for water filtration, and I haven't happened upon it yet. There's other ways to get chlorine as well, which would be, let's see, Where is it? I'm always bad at finding it. So the electrolyzer creates hydrogen gas, and then the rust deoxidizer creates chlorine gas. There tends to be a lot of rust. Have I found rust yet? In playtesting this mod pack, I do happen upon rust pretty regularly. But I don't know if I've happened upon it any yet on this map tile. But if you're looking for chlorine and can't find bleachstone, look for rust. That's another way to get it. Do I need to check the liquid pump settings on the first bottle emptier? No, it's already polluted water. It's set correctly. I just don't know. I think we just need to have a higher priority mopping to do that sooner. And then, yeah. It was just a priority issue. Good. So we're slowly filling up the liquid lock. We have about 800 kilograms of ethanol. Once it exceeds 1,000 kilograms of ethanol, it will form a liquid lock between left and right sides. And Matic, leveled up. We will give you... In this case, I might actually do improved carrying. Because we're gonna have a need of a lot of sweeping soon. So having a bunch of people that are really good at sweeping is going to be really useful, I think. Because everything inside the future living quarters is going to need to be swept up. Because none of it should be heated up, as I explained before. How close is Nabla? 1,500? Alright. Yeah, in a few cycles, Nabla will hit ranching status. The other thing I could do is I could go through and make sure to sweep up all the polluted ice and put it somewhere where it's really cold so it doesn't constantly melt. How is this entombed? What is it entombed by? Oh, it's not entombed. You're just lying to me. Their moods are way above where they need to be? Yeah. 10, 13, 10, 13. And that's without, you know, setting up a nature reserve or setting up a great hall. These are all things that are pretty easy to do. But because there's almost no benefit doing it right now, that's why I've tabled it. Oh yeah, look at this. Look at this carbon dioxide pool just going poof. Awesome. Harnessing all the benefits of the biome allows us to do things differently and efficiently. So probably one more. I think we just have enough ethanol in the pool that was here to actually make a liquid lock. Oh, a one liquid lock. So there's two different ways to make liquid locks. There's kind of like three, but one is two different liquids stacked on top of one another. And another is just one liquid in this sort of like pit configuration. And because ethanol is the only thing that is not going to regularly boil or freeze, because obviously water is going to turn into a solid pretty regularly here, even if it is brined. That's why I'm relying upon ethanol as the single liquid style liquid lock. I'm going to put this Mammoth out of its misery here. It's like just marooned on top of that iron. And it can't even fight back? Oh, no, it can. But it created meat. So now that I've found meat for the first time, I don't want to eat it raw. But I will happily turn it into barbecue. And let's also turn the omelets or the eggs into omelet. I could wait until I get sleet wheat grain. I wonder if I've actually found sleet wheat grain anywhere. But I'd rather just eat it now. There should be sleet wheat grain, probably. Yeah, here's some. Where the Weesports are. But I don't need to go out of my way for that just yet. Alright, I think the... Let's see, the polluted ice... I'm gonna put in this, this storage bin over here so that it doesn't keep creating puddles. Just because I'm being annoyed by it. So one way to do this is to turn on the polluted ice overlay and to sweep all of the polluted ice and put it only here. So let's go to the liquefiable, go to polluted ice, and go to 9. And sweep only. And the priority of the other storage bin, which is sweep only, is 5. So it shouldn't really be much of a problem, because only the polluted ice that we queue up to sweep will be put there. And it's out of the way enough that if it melts, it just goes into a pit where we're putting all of the other water into a pit, so it doesn't really matter to us. A lot of this polluted ice is probably never going to melt because it's in a cold enough environment. Or not never, but not soon, I should say. But I'll just sweep it up so it's not a recurring problem. Because it is a little gross to have, like, ice that is pee melting regularly. Because that's going to create polluted oxygen, which then create a germ outbreak. Okay, I think that's all of it. After a day or two, I'll cycle back to that that sweep priority and see how the progress is. The other thing I could do here is the harvest priority. I'm going to lower down to... Oh, no, that's disable. I'm going to lower the harvest priority down to like 5 because our kcals are actually quite high. We have 60,000 kcals of food, which is, for 4 people, is quite a lot. It's like... So I can lower the priority there so that they spend less time harvesting the pike apples and more time doing other projects. So now there's like only a few spots of polluted ice left outside of that box. We've pretty much collected it all. Yep, and everything, all the puddles around here are gone. Good. Scorpio leveled up. Let's give you... I'm probably not that close to astronomy, so I'm going to work towards tinkering. So you're better at machinery. Okay, I think our puddle problem is gone, which is good. So now it's just a sweep. Oh, and the liquid lock is complete. So this has 8 kilograms of extra ethanol, creating a second story of ethanol. So it's barely enough, but barely enough is still enough for me. I might fill it up a little bit more just to be safe. So I'm going to dig a tunnel over to this ethanol pocket. Because this doesn't look to be... It's enough for like 2 liquid locks total. And grab this ethanol so that we can have more bottled ethanol and to make this liquid lock a little bit more substantial. And what I'm doing here is I'm having this be the designated sweep bin, and then anytime it fills up, I just dump everything out of it. So right in this spot is just an enormous amount of stuff that we're just transporting from this area. Like a infinite stuff spot, if you will. Oh man, that is a lot of food. Up to almost 80 kcal. And then everything here, I'm just planning on like dumping and leaving it. I don't really need to sweep up everything that isn't inside. And I think what I'll do is I'll have one last story. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4 floors. I'm probably going to eventually need more than that, but like 4 is good enough for me for now. Digging, decorating, farming with a bunch of negative traits. No thanks. Farming, suit wearing, doctoring with Luddite. Uncultured caregiver, digging, doctoring, nidophobic, mole hands. No, I'll just go with the oxalite. Keep it simple. Oh, somehow... Wait, what? None of this was auto-harvested. Where did all the mature plants go from here? I don't know. That's really confusing. But Nabla leveled up, which is momentous because that allows us to start ranching. Alright, so all of the wild Flox we're going to wrangle and put into the ranch so that we can shear their horns, or antlers rather, for wood. And that also means that I might want to seek out some extra wild Flox that exists outside of my traversable terrain, so we can gain access to more. And then also, priorities, Nabla. Let's put ranching up the highest. I don't really need you to be cooking at the moment because we have so many kcals. We have enough to last us like 20 cycles if you didn't touch the kitchen again. Or no, 40 cycles? So yeah, you could take a break from that and wrangle these Flox. Plop the Flox here at this drop-off spot and then shear them for their antlers. So fully grown, they'll drop their roots, all edible, actually not included plants work that way? Yeah, when they're non-wild, that's right. Oh, you are stuck. Sorry. I caught that quick though. And there we go. We are starting to get Flox in our ranch. And they're eating the pike apple bushes and fruit. And then we'll get to shear them. So the shearing station I'm going to put as 9 or maybe 8. Grooming I'll put as 7 so that we can start to get the antlers and replenish our wood supply. So here we go. Our first shear. And plop, there is 360 wood dropped. Because our wood supply is very low, so that is handy. So I'm essentially waiting on more ranching so that we can start to replace some of the wood that we've used up so far. It's also really good that I didn't hunt the Flox, because sometimes you'll start with a lot of Flox around you, but I really didn't. I have like this one up here, and that's about it. So I'm going to use a little wood to get another Flox. But then at that point, most of my wood is going to go into burning for heat around the beds and to produce carbon dioxide, and then to build more floors over here. There is one buried in the snow, that's right. This one. And then I think this one got unwrangled? Or was... I missed it somehow. If I go to the wrangling overlay, I can also just like wrangle tool like that. I think we wrangled it and it just unwrangled because we hadn't moved it. And there we go. Now you can see the water dump working as intended. Dump into the pit. And this has... I'm going to put a little bit more ethanol in there. Although we've created a bit of a pitfall drop here because the oxalite is subliming and it's non-traversable now, so we need to make it traversable. The other thing I want to do is I want this to be sweep only, because I want to be able to pick the ethanol that I put there, because I don't want too much ethanol. So, I will put this one, because I don't want to oversupply the liquid lock. I don't want to put 200 kilograms of ethanol, just a little bit. So I did it manually, and then the rest of this ethanol can just sit there ready for another liquid lock when I need a second one. Thank you for tuning in to Oxygen Not Included, the Frosty Planet, which originally streamed live on Twitch, July 25th. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching, and a special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow duplicates.